Well, hello there, boys and girls. I want to make best starships in StarSector video, but I decided it would be a tier list this time. However, be warned, come on, every ship is usable pretty much in this game, and play whatever you want and you enjoy. It is just a suggestion. Let's start with cruisers. We have our Apog A tier. I really enjoy this ship. For a few points you get a nice package of things. This ship is mainly carried by the 2 large slots it has. Previous patches it would be S tier. Now I'm moving down to A. And also because of the constant nerfs to Hurricane missile launcher, this used to be a beast. Now it's half as powerful as it used to. And as it was the best choice for Apogee, yeah, it's going down a tier. Next ship, Aurora, B tier. I know few people are good with piloting it, but for me it's just a mobile ship which doesn't have any large slot, and it also costs hefty 30 points to deploy. As I said, for me it's a B tier. If you're good at it and know how to use it, you can pretty simply outflank your enemy and cause a distraction that way. So therefore you can move it to A tier, but for me it's clear B. Now the champion class. Quite recent addition that I quite enjoy. It doesn't have much flux dissipation, but it does have 2 large slots mounted in front. What makes this ship quite good for me is its special ability. When you use it, your energy damage is increased by 50%, and paired with high intensity laser or taking lanes, although you have to get a bit better timing, can melt other cruisers like no tomorrow. I'm thinking about low A or high B. Let's put it for high B for now. Now we have the 2 fighting colossi. Straight up F tier. The only thing that these 2 things do, and might even be S tier, is how fun they are to shoot at and how fun they are to blow up. You always feel strong when you're fighting against them. Dominator? Straight up A tier. This thing for 25 points is insane. And this ship was made even stronger in the recent patches, because now when you do the boost drive you can turn it off. Before you couldn't. What makes this thing strong is the amount of firepower it has in front. Everything is pointing forward. Not only that, it has also crazy amount of armor and hit points, making this thing a force to be reckoned with. I also tried this kind of crazy build with ghost cannons. It's not really optimal. If you put something like this on it, you will be doing quite fine. Good to have repair units on this thing though. Although it was quite a hassle for me, I must admit, and I wasn't using quite the good tactics. I should be able to take the conquest down. Yes, I did. Not perfectly played, but you can see my point. Just rush forward and just obliterate anything in front of you. This thing can definitely do it. Next one we have Eagle. It got super buffed and put pretty much into S tier, but it was hotfixed right away. Now it is sitting, in my opinion, somewhere between A and S tier. In this patch, for me, this is my go-to cruiser. It costs the same as Apogee, but the Eagle is more survivable. When I'm not playing on the insane battle size, so I mean 400 is the normal, you can push this further through notepad to 1000. But when you're playing on a vanilla maximum settings, I'm starting to use Eagles as support vessels. Although Dominator, as you can see, has much more firepower, the Eagle, at least for me, can get out of the fight more easily. Once the Dominator gets stuck inside, the AI just cannot pilot it and will get obliterated. Eagle can keep its distance. Right now the Eagle is the best cruiser in the game, and I'm considering putting it into S tier. And now we have the Eradicator, straight up A tier, and we will put it maybe next to the Apogee. This thing is something like a Dominator, but it is significantly cheaper. It costs only 18 points, not 25. Does not have the best amount of flux dissipation. Somehow, this thing just works. Look at the amount of deca this thing has. And I mean, it's just crazy. Like, look at this. Not only that, this thing has also the boost that the Dominator has, so it is quite mobile. The amount of rockets. Yeah, you wouldn't shoot everything at once, of course. Yeah. This thing is great. It's the second best. Yes, anytime I put this ship in my fleet, it just performs wonderfully these days. So amazing. And next up, we have the Falcon. Again, I've seen people perform with this ship quite well. And when you spam your fleet with these, it can be also very good. But for me, it's a C tier ship. Point-wise, it's in a weird place for me. My logic is basically, if I want to spend 14 points, although it's not much, I would rather spend a bit more on the Eradicator or push it further and get the Eagle. Doesn't mean it's a terrible ship, I just don't use it. And the Fury used to be S tier for me, or high A tier. Recently, it was a bit buffed because it was needed. What do I mean? This thing was crazy because it is one of the fastest ships in the game. It had a decent armament. Here's the nerf. I want to find it. It used to cost 15 points to deploy. Increased to 20 was way too much in my opinion. This thing should cost maybe 18, 17 points. Still absolutely crazy mobile and definitely useful when you want to catch the retreating fleets. At the beginning it wasn't exactly S tier, but definitely A1. But the change from 15 deployment points to 20 moved it to a different competition tier. From Falcon to Eagle, which made me totally stop using the ship. I think it is low B tier now, and maybe I'm a bit too nice to this thing. And the next one is a Griffin, our favorite missile cruiser. Missiles are ridiculously strong in this game. Well, at least they used to be much stronger in the previous patches. Okay, this was a mistake, I didn't want to fire it. The issue with this ship is, as you can see, the point defense system. I think in today's Star Sector, anything larger than cruisers have a very good point defense system. And even some of the cruisers are getting insane amount of PD, just not getting the rockets through. And as I was mentioning again, every single ship that was strong in Star Sector because of missiles now is weaker. And those ships that don't have large missiles are now stronger. Why? Because of the hurricane nerfs. I repeated it constantly. This thing got butchered. It used to have, I think, 11 shots. Now it has 7. That is insane different. I've seen tier lists where they still put Hurricane into S tier. In my opinion, currently, it is definitely not S tier. And it is, in my opinion, C or below C tier. Because 7 rockets is not enough and they get shot down by point defense systems. The other thing we have is the Dragonfire Torpedo. And let's see if I can prove my point. If this thing will hit the Dominator. Alright, not bad, it got it. Not that bad, like, okay. This is the other problem, you have a rocket ship, so you're not firing back, but yeah, it's struggling, maybe it will get the shot off. It got the shot off, but it's nowhere near the power the Hurricane. And with larger ships like Onslaught, yeah, it doesn't have a chance. And that's terrible. Large missiles on ship should be used against capitals to deal incredible amount of damage really fast. This thing cannot do it anymore. This thing is overpriced, will get shot down 90% of the time, and it has 5 ammo. This thing needs incredible. Double the ammo, double the damage, double the hit points of the projectile. Now you're left with Hammer Barrage and Cyclone Reaper to deal with the big ships. These things are really good, but for 20-point ship, which won't have much survivability, this thing should be support ship, so it should fire these two. But it cannot, because they are not that good anymore. Maybe the squalls are fine. Nothing can even compare to the pre-nerfed Hurricane. I don't think it's good. I don't know right now. It's sad because it's such a fun concept. As I said, this ship is heavily dependent on the state of missiles. And in vanilla, not the modded. Modded, it's great. In vanilla currently, the missiles are suffering, and therefore this ship is suffering as well. Unfortunate. Heron, our favorite carrier. A tier. And maybe better than Apogee. Heron is a great ship. It's really fast, mobile, and it's focused on the fighters. However, carriers in recent patches got nerfed. Not only because of some fighters I think got nerfed, but most importantly, as you can see, the officers, they don't get fighter bonuses as they used to. I don't think they do. Now it is tied up to these character skills. And if you don't go with them, the carriers are not that good anymore. Which is really stupid that it's so skill dependent. The other thing is, bigger the battle size, in my opinion, the better the carriers are. I'm used to playing when I'm modding 1000 battle size, so beyond the 400 with that. What's next? Oh, even I have to watch my own tutorials. And if you want to change the battle size, you go to StarSector, Core, Data, Config, Settings. And when you open it with Notepad, you can find battle signs and then change it. For example, I played on 1000. I think the carriers are more important the larger battle size is. And as you can go only to 400 in vanilla, and the skills that you have to choose, which is kind of dumb in my opinion, makes me want to put the Heron a bit lower, as it is not that essential. Mora is the same story. As a carrier, Heron is more mobile, Mora is more tanky. I prefer Heron, but you can go either way. Next we have the Doom class. We need a new row, spaceships. In recent patches, they quite changed. They are not so stupid proof. If you don't know how to play them, they are pretty bad in my opinion. But if you are really good at them, it's the most broken thing out there. And it can go anywhere here based on your skill level. For me, I used to be quite good with them, but with the changes, I'm not that fine with them anymore. For me, it is a B tier basically. Now let's go on to destroyers. I have to get the easy out of the way, because here are some ships that I don't use that often. Hammerhead, clear A tier. It has incredible amount of firepower. This is my go-to starting destroyer. Drover, it used to be very strong if built correctly. I think the correct place to put it is to A tier. For my personal use, it's in B tier. I don't use it as often. Oh, this is by the way carrier. We have the Harbinger, one of the most OP phase ships. People can do crazy things with this phase ship. I'm not one of them. And now I see a very interesting one. The Sander class. This could be borderline OP. And some people, as you can see, can push it to incredible heights. But I will still put it into A tier. Because AI won't do that kind of crazy things, and you have to know what you are doing. Alright, now it's looking a bit better. I did some cleaning up. Redacted, come on. OP ships. You can pilot them by using the automated ship skills. However, they won't be at their full power capacity. Phase ships, as I mentioned, very overpowered if you know how to use them. One difference that I will do here is the ziggurat. That ship can go to S tier. Because while other phase ships require skill to pilot, this thing has certain builds that do not require you to know how to use the phase ship smartly. You don't have to go behind the enemy. You can just start shooting the enemy ship frontally. And you can do it from behind as well. It doesn't matter basically. And just for that flexibility that I showed you, I think the ziggurat can go to S tier. Because here the skill isn't that important, as you have more options to build it correctly. But skills are very important. It will make it so much stronger. As any ship, but here especially. With supply ships and support ships, yeah, they are all important. This one is the worst, I think, the small fuel one, as I always get the medium size. The Prometheus and the Atlas are... you will have them in every fleet in the late game, so lovely. Ox is great if you don't know, because it's a tug ship. Basically, it will increase your burn speed by 1 for the entire fleet. But sensor profile is huge, and it also uses quite a lot of fuel. Let's continue with the destroyers, shall we? Buffalo, F tier. And now we have Shrike. Yeah, this is a good ship. This one I like. This one is A tier. This is because it's basically Fury, a smaller one, but it's good. You don't need the Fury for catching up the fleet. This will catch up sufficiently enough. I see the other lovely ship added to the game recently. The Manticore here. Crazy good. Yeah. I will put it here. 12 points to deploy. Little amount of Daka with a large slot actually. Clearly built different. Really enjoyed this ship. What do you have to notice also? With the recent patches, I didn't used to like low-tech ships, but now they're getting quite high in my lists. And I think we are done with cruisers for now. And what happened right now, you can see it down below. I put a new bracket. Ships I do not use and variants. What simple is it? Judge the variants here based on this list. If I consider Eagle A tier, the variants will be probably as well as good. Or sometimes even better. And those that do not have the variants are those ships that I don't use that much. And I won't shout that they are bad ships. I think you will be better off using the ships in the tier list. Now we are moving to the capitals. So first we have the Astral. This used to be an absolute powerhouse S tier, but then it got kind of nerfed. And what is this thing? Yeah, it is the biggest carrier in the game. But after the cost was increased to 50 points to deploy, it starts to be too much. Other thing is, on the officers, you pretty much don't get skills anymore that increase the power of the fighters. The fact that the battle size can go only to 400, as I already mentioned, this thing went from S tier to a high B tier, I presume. Mid B tier. It used to be the king, and now it isn't. Atlas Mark II, horrible ship, in my opinion. Better than these two, but it's in the same category. It is just there to make you feel better when you blow it up. But you know, it has a lot of firepower, so we can argue on D tier, but like, you don't fear one of these on the battlefield. It just falls apart way too quickly. Conquest. This is my go-to battleship. I just love it so much. So many large slots. Insane amount of flux dissipation. Maneuverable. I really adore this thing. It is just a mix of everything you love in this game, a lot of good Daka. However, it got nerfed indirectly. And as you can see, this is my ship I use with the Rift torpedoes, because previously I would use the Hurricane. And of course, as it got nerfed, now it's no more that good. It is incredible how much the Conquest suffered through these nerfs, because it used to be like this. You fire your broadside, which is epic, of course, but you need large rockets that can curve and shoot at the enemy while you are shooting the broadside, which was perfect with the Hurricane. But now, as you can see, did even one rocket get through to this onslaught? No more. These things are strong. Therefore, for me, the most suitable replacement was the Rift torpedo. And for the sole reason of this nerf, the Conquest for me is going from S tier to A tier. And I see the Executor class. This thing is crazy. Although it doesn't have the best flux utilization, the special ability is the same as on the champion. If you press F, your energy damage is increased by 50%. We had an officer, so it's a bit stronger, of course. But if you put high intensity lasers, press the F ability, the enemies will just melt. A tier. Now what about this behemoth of a ship? The Invictus class. I love this kind of addition to the game because it is super unique. Special ability is what makes it crazy. Press F, your range increases, you lock into the target, and you can burst someone down. It has incredible amount of damage. And of course, if you're using officers, you can one-shot the conquest in one go. Issue with this thing is the low flux dissipation. It usually happens when AI pilots the ship. It just stands on the full flux cap and it doesn't shoot much. If you're playing it, it's just incredible. Another thing I wanted to say, why am I talking so much? I haven't taken damage. You have to be careful when they disable your weapons, but anyway, that's super good. Automated repair unit is probably very important, and there are other things that I would change here. But even with all of that, I think it's a B-tier ship. Let me explain. It is very strong, as you can see, but it's more a gimmicky fun ship. AI cannot really use it, come on. And I don't think you will wield it as often as well. If we would rank this on fun factor, it's S-tier. Legions, B-tier, and the 14th battle group Legion goes to high A tier for me because of this type of build. Yes, the Hurricane got nerfed, but unlike other ships, this thing can work with frontal-facing large missiles, while and Hammerhead and Cyclo Reaping are very good. And look what I'm using in this: the defensive targeting array. That means the bombers won't leave range of my carrier. But if I charge in, they will more work as a missile turret or something like that, which is super fun first of all, super unique, and the firepower is on them just insane. The advantage of this kind of tactic is that the fighters or the bombers won't get destroyed so easily and they will constantly fire. And with the hammer barrage torpedo and other crazy stuff, it is wonderful and super fun. This is the build I would go for. Of course, this thing works even without officers. The hammer barrage does so much damage, and you have incredible amount of DACA as well for a carrier, so to say. Not to mention armor as well. Like, look at this. My favorite build for this patch. This is not my idea. One YouTuber did this idea, so thank you so much. A high A tier in my opinion. Odyssey, everyone's favorite ship. Unfortunately, it is very strong in your hands, but the AI cannot pilot it for shit. As I have my Conquest, and I enjoy it more, I will put the Odyssey in B tier, as I don't want to pilot it, and the AI cannot handle it. For you, it might be A or even an S tier. Onslaught, A tier. Both variants are very good. Incredible amount of armor, incredible amount of firepower. The only thing it's missing is the mobility, but the F ability does help it quite a lot. And in frontal battle, like, there's nothing that can go against it. The only issue is once it is engaged, it cannot really disengage because it's a big chunky boy. Why do I want to rank it so high? Because it doesn't have any large missiles. Your ship is much better because every other ship that uses a Hurricane is now much worse because it cannot use it. I still prefer my Conquest over it, but I cannot argue that in a raw stat fight, this thing is incredible. Oh, should I even explain myself? It is also the reason why this chunky boy is so low. Because the Paragon cost the same 60 points to deploy. But it is also the only ship that has implemented mod inside of it that increases its range by double. There is no ship in the game that can outrange it. It is super safe, it deals insane amount of damage, and has the flux dissipation to support it. It is reasonably tanky as well, and you have very strong shields, and also the special ability allows you to just eat the damage from the other ships while you will obliterate them. This thing has the range, this thing has the stats to support it, and it has one incredible advantage. This ship, unlike others, is pilotable by AI. Absurd ship, the crown jewel, nothing's better. And now we have the Pegasus. This is a new addition to the game. I haven't played with it much, but it uses 4 large rockets. Here, 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 and here. And I had explained myself multiple times what I mean. I think it's C tier. I have to play with it more, but I cannot get over it. The Battle Prometheus, another fun ship to blow up. But you know what? You can use it in fun ways, so let's move it a tier. Final capital ship, the Retribution class. It's the cheapest one, 35 points to deploy. Very good DACA, it is very mobile and super fun. A tier. Now let's move to Frigates. However, I sadly do not use them that much because I don't enjoy them. But at least I can mention a few favorites. The Afflictor, of course, the spaceship, the Brawler. This thing is, I think, A tier. Centurion, I don't use that much, but I would put it into C. Let me remind you, this is unfair because I don't use that much. So if this thing is actually A tier, I wouldn't know. Kerberos, fast combat freighter. This one is good. Is it somewhere here? Is it this one? I think it is this one. Why do I think it's good? A tier in the early game? Because it is used as a storage device. It is basically a supply ship. So you would get it just so you can carry things around, but pretty nice. This tanker I don't like, I already mentioned, I think the bigger one is better. Phase ship, Harmless class shuttle, never used it. I don't know. Hound, bad ship in my opinion. Come on, it is so small. You'll maybe pilot it for 5 battles in the early game and then never use it again. Hyperion, this one is good. I think it's A tier. Kite, again, I will put it in C tier, the kite one, but I can put it more. I don't have an opinion about it. It's just so small. To be honest with you guys, once the ship is below 10 points to deploy, I don't use it that much. Lasher. It looks pirate, so I think it is bad. D tier. No, I cannot say. I don't know. Mercury, same. Look at this thing. It doesn't have anything, but never used it. Monitor could be decent. Yes, I went through the small ships, but unfortunately I cannot judge all of them because I don't play much of them. A few more ships I can judge. The Wolf is an A tier, wonderful ship. And one other incredible ship is the Omen class. Why is that? Because you will use it at the late game when you want a fast ship to capture the main arrays to gain more deployment points. The rest, unfortunately, I don't know. I think these 3 are good, but I haven't played much with them, so yeah. So this is the tier list, boys and girls. If you enjoyed, please like and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Bye bye and take care. I shouldn't be looking at myself, so bye bye and take care.